Hello everybody, my name is Arthur and I'm gonna show you how to make rainbow bread today, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so it's like a brightly colored bread. It tastes just like regular white bread, but it has rainbow layers. Alright, so the things that you're gonna need for this recipe are 1 cup of milk, 1 large egg yolk, 1.5 tablespoons of melted butter, 2.5 tablespoons of sugar, 1 envelope of instant quick rise yeast, 3/4 of a tablespoon of salt, and approximately around 3 cups of flour. Okay, so starting off, the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to put 1 cup of milk in a large bowl. Alright, then you're going to have to go ahead and add the large egg yolk and blend those two things together until well combined. Alright, after that you're going to go ahead and put the bowl in the microwave for about 30 to 45 seconds until it's warm to the touch. Okay, after you get done with this, take out the bowl from the microwave and go ahead and add the 1.5 tablespoons of sugar as well as the envelope of quick rise yeast to the mixture, and also add 1.5 tablespoons of melted butter. Then you're going to go ahead and whisk those things together until they're well combined, and you can also start to mix your salt and your flour together. Okay, now is the time to actually start making the dough of the bread. So you're going to go ahead and add your flour mixture to the bowl of other things you mix together. And you're going to go ahead and keep adding and mixing the flour into the mixture until a paste kind of forms. Alright, after you form the paste, keep adding and just keep mixing flour into the mixture until a nice thick dough starts to form. And you want to keep doing this until it gets thicker and thicker. You might have to switch to a wooden spoon instead of a whisk, and that's fine, but just keep mixing it. Okay, after you're done mixing and the dough starts to kind of stick together, you're going to have to put it out onto the countertop and start to knead it. So begin to knead the dough, and you're going to do it for about 5 minutes until it's smooth and elastic. Also, what I found helps when you're kneading dough is make sure you put some flour out onto the countertop of the table that you're working at. And what this does is it keeps the dough from sticking to the table, which is really annoying. Alright, after you're done kneading it, you're going to take your ball of dough and you're going to kind of make it into this oblong shape. And you're going to go ahead and divide it into 6 different equal sized pieces for 6 colors of the rainbow. So I did this by first dividing the dough ball into thirds and then cutting those thirds into halves, which makes 6 pieces. Alright, so now that you have your dough ball divided into 6 different pieces, you're going to need to start coloring the dough. So go ahead and grab your food coloring. I had liquid food coloring, but you can also use gel food coloring if you have that type. But yeah, grab 6 different colors. So you're going to need red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple for the colors of the rainbow. And we're going to start kneading the dyes into the dough. So when you're kneading the color into the dough, make sure you keep adding little bits of flour onto the countertop, and this keeps the dough from sticking, and it'll also get the color off the countertop, which is good too. Alright, after you're all done with this, and it does take quite a while, it takes about 5 to 6 minutes to knead the color into each ball of dough, so this is kind of a time consuming recipe, but anyways, after you're done with all these steps, you're going to go ahead and add some cooking spray on top of the balls of dough, and you're going to put them in 6 different bowls, and you're going to put some plastic wrap on top. Alright, after you do this, you're going to need to leave the dough balls in a warm spot to let them rise, and this takes about an hour to an hour and a half. And you just kind of want to maybe eyeball it. Just look for when it's about doubled in size. The yeast is going to actually make the dough get bigger, which is good. Alright, so after about an hour, once the dough has had a chance to rise, it's time to assemble the final loaf. So for this particular loaf, I'm going to start first with purple, since I'm doing the colors of the rainbow in order. And so you're going to go ahead and start to shape your dough balls into a rectangular shape that is about the size of the bread pan that you're using for this particular recipe. Alright, you're going to want to make sure that you brush some water on top of each layer with a pastry brush. And what this does is it keeps air pockets from forming between the dough while it's cooking. So make sure you just keep adding water on top of each layer and pressing out any air pockets that you find on top of the dough. So keep continuing to stack the layers one by one. In this case I did purple, blue, yellow, green, orange, and then finally red on top. And remember, keep pressing out any air bubbles that you find between the layers. Okay, once you're done with this, you're going to go ahead and take all of your layers that are stuck together and put them into a greased bread pan, and put plastic wrap with cooking oil on top of the loaf, and you're going to again let it rise for about an hour in a warm spot until it's about double in size. So after you come back and it's doubled in size, you're pretty much ready to finally bake it. You have to put it in the oven for half an hour at 375 degrees until the crust on top is a golden brown color. When you get your bread out of the oven, you can tap the top of the bread and make sure it has a hollow sound, and this is how you know it's cooked properly. And you can also brush some melted butter on top of the crust of the bread if you want the crust to be soft. If you don't want it to be soft, if you like crusty bread, then don't do this step. So once the bread has cooled a little bit, you can finally take it out of the bread pan and let it cool further on a wire rack. After it's completely cooled, you can finally slice your bread and kind of be amazed by what you made. So it kind of looks cool. It has like all the different colors of the rainbow in layers, which is kind of a neat effect. And you know, you can use this bread to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, French toast, or pretty much anything that requires normal looking bread. This just gives your food a rainbow flair to it, and I guess it's nicer to look at than normal bread. So yeah, thank you for watching my how-to video. I certainly hope that it was useful to you in some way, and maybe you can make your own rainbow bread someday, or not. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, that's the end. Goodbye.
Crazy.
Yo, it's recording.
That's pretty cool.
Beach boys? Took a picture.
We took one picture.
Beach boy. Yo, see these shoes?
Yo.
Oscar.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started.
Yo, what up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?